What's good, YouTube? We are back again, and today we're talking about the 2010 release of Leather Oud. I decided to re-upload this video because I wasn't happy with the overall quality of the last one, so this is a re-upload of an earlier version of this video. Now, there is a 2018 release of Leather Oud, but we're going to talk about the 2010 release. This was composed by Francois Damaschi. It has notes of civet, leather, oud, honeycomb, woody accords, and amber. In the opening, there's a very strong dose of the civet and the oud, and these are the dominant notes throughout the entire life of this fragrance. For me, this is actually when I get the most of the leather. It is present during this time, but to my nose anyways, it doesn't last that long. I only get leather for maybe about an hour of this fragrance. But when it is there, it does conjure this beautiful image of being in a desert, riding a camel. You can smell the leather from the saddle, and it's just very luxurious and very stunning. Now, in the dry down, the leather is long gone, and the civet and the oud are still quite present and quite strong. This creates a really ultra musk that's quite animalic as well. In some respects, this reminds me a little bit of a barnyard, for lack of a better description, although for those of us who have spent any time in a barn, this is not exactly the best description, but it kind of gives you an idea of the fact that it has this very rough, animalic kind of an odor to it. The leather and the oud are also blended really nicely with the honeycomb, and when you can smell the honeycomb, it creates this really luxurious image of a very beautiful animal pelt. It's really quite stunning, and it's amazing how it's really able to conjure this kind of imagery. Now, the other thing to talk about with this one is that there is kind of a poopy smell. This is something that can't be avoided, and it is something that is there periodically. It's not always present, but every once in a while, there's sort of this poopy smell. And it's strange because it's not actually offensive in any kind of a way. It just happens to be there, and it just kind of reminds me of poop. So it's weird because it's not offensive, but it's definitely there. And so you have to be aware of that when you're wearing this. For performance, this is probably one of the best performing fragrances I've ever tried. This easily lasts 12 plus hours on my skin, which is pretty good because I don't often get really great longevity out of fragrances. And the projection on this one is really quite monstrous. It's definitely something people are going to smell on you. The nice thing about this too is that if you did buy a full bottle of this one, it probably would last you forever because you really only need 1 or 2 sprays, and it's going to last you pretty much all day. Now, overall, this is a very masculine ultra musk fragrance. The leather and the oud and the honeycomb do add a certain depth and luxurious nature to this fragrance. This is one I actually expected people to kind of shy away from when I was wearing it, and I was really expecting somebody to be offended at work with this one, but nobody actually was. In fact, I got a lot of good reactions, and also from women too, which was also something I was a little surprised about. I really was expecting this to be a little bit offensive to at least somebody, but that is not the response that I got at all. Now, for a good time to wear this, I would say this is pretty limited. You should really only wear it in the winter or in the cold weather, as it does feature these really heavy, really strong sort of notes that would probably suffocate someone in the heat. And this is also one that is not for everybody, so it is something that's very animalic. It is masculine. But in that, it's also really brilliantly well done, and it definitely does what it's supposed to do very well and very elegantly. So anyways, guys, if you haven't got your nose on this one, do check it out. One of the best ultra musk animalic fragrances that I've got my nose on. And as always, guys, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.